Okay. All right. Well, welcome you guys to the Fit Fam Monday night team call. As you probably know, Carolyn is in California on a sister trip, having some much deserved unplugged time. So she'd asked me to just introduce our team call. And Karissa is going to be speaking tonight, so I hope you guys are super excited and ready to take notes. And like we were just saying, or if you're watching the recording, we're not going to have recognition tonight just because since Carolyn's on vacation, we don't have that report, which is fine. We'll just have it extra impressive next week because we can all do a lot between now and then. So we won't have recognition tonight. We'll just jump right into the meat of this call. So Karissa, if you're ready, I'll hand it over to you and let you take it away.
Great. Thanks, Emmy. Okay, so tonight I'm going to talk about, I guess I've been a Beachbody coach for 3-4 months, I think, June, July, August, September, a little over 3 months. I am very close to Diamond. I just need one more coach and one Emerald coach. So I'm kind of here to just kind of talk about certain things, I guess, that I do that help me, thrive, I guess, in the business quickly. But a little background, I am a stay-at-home mom. I didn't expect myself to be a stay-at-home mom. I actually went to school for baking and pastry. So I decorated cakes for 2-3 years, I think, and then ended up finding out we were pregnant. So it wasn't a job that I wanted to do while I was pregnant or while I was a mom. It's a lot of demanding hours. So I got pregnant, gained 50 pounds, so I felt gross. So I had reached out to Carolyn back in November before I signed up. But then we were a little tight on money with just having a baby and me not working, so I kind of put it off. And then in April, she had reached out to me on my birthday, and then I decided, I was going to do it. It took a little bit to get the money together, so I ended up signing up in May. And then my grandma ended up getting sick, so I signed up. I had all this stuff, but I didn't actually start until the Monday after Memorial Day weekend. So I started that Monday, and then I started with the 21-day fix, and then I signed up as a coach on June 9th. So it was only 2-3 weeks. I saw amazing results, so I was like, oh, I'll give it a shot. I wanted really the extra income. I figured it would be nice to have, because Corey's a police officer, so it would be nice to have him home more often. So it's really important for me to thrive in this business, so we can, do things as a family more often, and he doesn't have to work as much. So to talk a little bit about, I guess, how my day goes and what I kind of do. So I tend to do my workouts in the morning, but lately I have been doing it when she takes a nap, because I've been sleeping in more often. But I like to kind of start with the basic things. So working out, drinking your shake every day, and personal development. If you aren't doing these things, how can you talk someone else into doing them? So working out, drinking your shake every day, and personal development. Personal development is a big thing for me. I used to be a very negative person, always looking for the negative in things. I wanted to lose weight, not necessarily for myself, but for other people. I wanted people to look at me and think, oh, wow, she looks great, or, oh, wow, she's hot, kind of thing. It was never really for me. I was just oh, I want to be skinny so everybody sees me as skinny and pretty. I was the type of person, so I worked in customer service. I worked at Panera and the Yoga Factory. So I really didn't like people. I didn't like talking to people. So one of the biggest challenges that I had to overcome was talking to people and reaching out to people. So I just kind of, figured, why not? Because, I'm losing my train of thought. Sorry. So I didn't like talking to people because I used to work in Marlton. So there are people they have money. They're kind of rich and snobby. So you get a lot of rude people. So it was hard to, like talking to people, I guess you could say. So you learn to like hate talking to people and reaching out, and you have like this fear of rejection. So growing up, I was always like the bigger girl out of all my friends. So I, was always like ashamed of how I looked. So I had this big fear of like people like not liking me. So I was always trying to please other people, and, doing things for other people. So back to the personal development. So I am reading right now the Unfuck Yourself book. So good. Love it. I read You Are the Badass first. I love it. I think it's great. It's definitely, changed my perspective on people and just life in general. My grandma passed away the Thursday before I started my first challenge group. So, I could have easily used that as an excuse not to do it. I was going through a really hard time. She passed away kind of unexpectedly. She was only 69. So, it was something like it hit our family pretty hard. So, I definitely could have used it as an excuse, but instead I used it to push me. She was unhealthy like her whole life. She had diabetes, high blood pressure. She was seeing a doctor, like a different doctor every 3-4 days. So it kind of pushed me to, be a better me. So I don't leave I have a daughter and I don't want to leave her at 69. So that's something that pushed me. So definitely personal development has really helped, change the way I look at things. I was cheated on before. So it kind of makes you feel like you're not good enough. For me, it was more, what did I do wrong? Like, why is this happening to me kind of thing. But really, after doing like the personal development, you realize it's not you, it's like the other person. So it's something, it definitely has changed like my mindset on myself, life, and, pushes me to, be a better person and want to actually talk to people. So a fear of rejection, I think, comes from, me growing up and trying to please everybody. I always wanted to be like everybody else, kind of thing. So I try to focus more on trying to please myself and my daughter, because really I think those are the only two like opinions that really matter. Something else that I definitely had to overcome was posting more. I have been I'm always a private. Sorry, she's watching Trolls. Stop doing that. Stabbing the TV. Okay, so posting more, definitely. I am a very private person. I really never liked my business being on social media. I've been with my significant other for almost 6 years, and I'm still single on Facebook. Like, I never really liked putting things on Facebook. I feel like I always felt like that gave people, a reason to be in my business. So that was definitely something I had to work on. I always felt like, when I was posting, it was always like so much drama, like it caused drama. But then I realized if you're posting positive things, you're more likely to get positive feedback. So, positive vibes cause positive feedback. Every day I get those things like, oh, on this day 5 years ago. So I would look back and like 5 years ago, it would be like these negative quotes, like all sad and like depressing. So yeah, you would get negative feedback from, negative vibes. If you're putting something sad and depressing out, people are going to be saying sad and negative things about you. But I'm posting, positive things, and I'm growing my business and making new friends and all these things. So, all the things I'm getting back from it are positive. People are like, oh, I see your posts all the time. They're so inspiring. Like, oh my God, you're so, things like that. So I think definitely the key is loving yourself and, being positive, even in negative situations. I also think loving yourself then and now is definitely key. As much as, you know, back then I hated the way I looked and how I was, I look now at it as more of like something to push me every day. So it's something taking the, you know, the negative away and using it as a positive instead. I think a lot of things, like people appreciate the conversation. I think a lot of times people think like, oh, I don't want to reach out to them. They're probably going to think I'm annoying. But I think people appreciate like conversation, especially if it's not just about Beachbody. So you don't really want to just always reach out just about Beachbody. You want to kind of make it personal too. You know, I've made friends who haven't even signed up with me. They haven't signed up yet or anything. You know, but I made friends. I have the girl I was just talking to earlier today. You know, she's going through a hard time like with her relationship. So we just sat there and talked for like a good hour, and we went to high school together. We'd never talked a day in our lives until I reached out to her before, and now we're like actually friends. My one working coach is one of like my best friends now, and I only started 3 months ago. And we also went to high school together and never actually talked, but now we're like so close. This one I think is really important, keeping it real. So I would never post anything if like my hair wasn't done or my makeup wasn't done. I never wanted to be on social media at all. But I was actually talking to Katie, and she was saying like, you know, people eat that shit up, like the raw stuff, you know, like I'm a mom. So you want to post things like that mom bun and like, you know, food all over your shirt and stuff like that, toys all over the floor. People love that. They don't like, not that they don't like, you know, being dressed up, but, you know, people like the, you know, the real shit. So I think that's also super, super important. Going live is something that I have been wanting to do. I haven't done it yet. I think people will love it, you know, because it's, what's the word? It's like refreshingly like it's you, like you're on the spot and it's like real. So it's definitely something I'm working on doing. I definitely have to do it. But I think people love like family, friends, animals, food, and that shit's real. It's, you know, it's part of everyday lives for most people. And if they don't like family, friends, animals, or food, then they probably don't like anything. I don't know. But definitely like, you know, keeping it real, I think is definitely something that's very important. I also, I think making a small community inside the big community that we have is important. I have a few threads with a bunch of people from our team that we go back and forth all the time. I know we have one from the Team Cup that we still talk in all the time, you know, and it helps with, you know, little things like, oh, what should I say here? Like, oh, like, what do you guys do? And this, and when somebody says this, like, what do you say, kind of thing. And you like swap ideas back and forth, and you have that like small little community inside this big community that we have. And it really helps, you know, keep going and staying on track and keeping motivated and doing like everything that you should do every day. And then another thing is don't give up. So, you know, keep inviting, keep putting yourself out there. I had 3 coaches quit in one day, and I have all of them back, not the same people, but I made up for all 3 of those coaches already. So you just want to keep building. Sorry. Okay. So yeah. So you don't, and you also like don't want to give up on people. So I've been talking to people for the last 3 months, and then finally, you know, this month they're like, you know what? Yeah, like tell me more about it, kind of thing. Like I've had people ignore me, and you know, like I've had people ignore me and for months, and then I reach it, but I keep reaching out, and then finally they're like, okay, yeah, like tell me more about it, and then they're like signing up, or they're interested, or they're ready, kind of thing. So, so yeah, so I did actually want to go back to like the whole posting thing. I'm still like really bad at posting. I never really know like what to say. Like I have topics, but I never actually know what to say. So what I've actually been doing is planning out my posts. So every Wednesday, since our weeks usually start Thursday, so every Wednesday I'll sit down and I'll write out like a couple of my posts that I have for like each day kind of thing. So it helps me like stay on track, and it helps me so I'm not like, oh, like what should I post today? Like I don't know what to say kind of thing. But sorry. Yeah. So planning out my posts, being real, not giving up, and definitely sticking to the basics, which is like doing your workouts and drinking your shakes, personal development. Those are all key to, a successful business. I went out today and invited like 30 who were looking at my Instagram story, and now I have like a bunch of people who are like interested that I'm talking to. So I definitely think, doing it every single day. A few weeks ago, I messaged Carolyn because I was like in a funk, I guess. Like I was having trouble like sticking to my meal plan and, working out every single day. So it really kind of put me behind. So that's why I definitely know that like if you're doing the things you're supposed to be doing every single day, then it's easier to talk to people. Because like I said, you have to be proof of the product. So you can't talk to someone else into doing something that you're not doing. So for like a week, I was struggling, like sticking to everything. So for that week, I wasn't really talking to anybody. I was like falling behind. So now today I'm like, okay, I'm going to get shit done. And so I invited 34 people. I sat down for an hour and, I worked the business, I worked out, I drank my shake, and I got things done. So it's definitely keeping a schedule and, definitely keeping a schedule and having those people to come to and, talk to about it and stuff like that, I think is definitely important. But other than that, I mean, that's really all I got in my notes. That's about it. If anybody has any questions.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I took a lot of notes, so I hope you guys all did too. Does anybody have anything to ask Karissa at that time? Anything at all?
I have a question. When you said that you like lost a bunch of coaches on one day, and then you said you were able to build your coaches back up, what was your approach? Like, I guess what was going through your mind when you lost the coaches? Like, did you feel defeated at all? And like, what was your approach of just getting new coaches and just continuing on?
Yeah. I guess a little bit, because no one really likes to lose people, I guess. So the only one of them actually reached out to me and said she wasn't going to like do it anymore. And then the other ones I just got like emails saying they were canceling. So I was like, okay, cool. So yeah, I mean, I was a little bothered by it, but it isn't for everybody. So the girls that actually did end up like canceling, I don't want to say that, I mean, I wasn't surprised because they weren't like, every time I reached out to them, like, they weren't posting and they weren't like checking in with me all the time and stuff like that. So I kind of figured like they weren't going to stick with it for too long. So it was a little like, discouraging, but, I just kept reaching out to people. I had a couple people who had said they would, sign up. Like it was like a couple weeks after that it had happened. So I was just like waiting for them. I think one was actually like Corey's mom. So she was like, yeah, I'll definitely sign up as a coach. But, I think it's important to like not let that stuff get to you. Cause like I said, it isn't for everybody, and for me, I know it took me a couple months to actually like want to do it. So it's not for everybody, I don't think. And some people do, like they sign up and they're ready to do it, and then they have something happen and like something going on in their life. So they're like, you know what, like I can't do this anymore. So I definitely wouldn't take it to heart. I would just keep doing what you're doing. You know, because there's a million people out there that, you know, can take their spot. So.
Well, thank you.
And just add to that really quickly, because that was something that that was something that I struggled with for a long time. When I first started coaching, like every time the coach quit, I felt like it was my fault, and I felt defeated, and I would get totally discouraged. But what I realized, and what is really important to remind yourself of, is like if you don't like take credit for your coach's victories, like when your coach hits emerald, you don't take credit for it, right? You give credit to your coach. You also can't take the responsibility of your coach quitting or failing or leaving or anything else like that. So it's like, sorry, someone's vacuuming right outside of my door right now, if you can hear that. Super weird. But yeah, so like if you're not going to take all the credit for their hard work, as long as you're providing them with everything you possibly could be, and, you know, giving them what you can, like you can't drag someone along. So if it's not for them and they're not willing to do the work, you can't take responsibility for that, and you can't beat yourself up over it. Even if you feel like they had so much potential, like you can't do the work for them ultimately. So like as long as you know that you gave them everything that you that you could, and you guided them the way, like the best that you could, you can't beat yourself up about it.
That makes sense. Thanks.
I also was going to ask, Karissa, because I know, like, with you being as relatively new as you are and being so close to Diamond, when you're signing people, like, I know you said it was, like, somebody's mom, I think, but is it mostly your warm market, like, friends and family who you're signing up, or are you also, like, finding people through Instagram, or what's the ratio?
I'm trying to think. I think everybody right now as coaches, I pretty much think they mostly are all in my warm market. I know I have like a cousin, my sister, my mom, Corey's mom, friends from like high school. There are people in there who are from my high school that I never talked to before, that either had reached out to me or I reached out to them. I have been reaching out to more people like outside of, you know, my warm market. I've been trying to find people more like on Instagram. I feel like it's easier for me to find people on Instagram than Facebook, but most of like the coaches that are my coaches right now are in my warm market.
Okay, cool. So, and obviously you're all already almost to Diamond, so that just goes to show that like everybody on this call can do that too, because you've done that in like a handful of months.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. I also had a second part, well, not really the same question, but I know you mentioned like a big hurdle you had to get over was the whole like fear of putting yourself out there on social media and being public and everything. I know you said that making a posting schedule helped. Is that something that like a lot of my girls I think struggle with too? And I did it first. Was that like the main thing that just helped you just like kind of just like shut your eyes and grit your teeth and do it? It was like having that schedule, or was it just like with time?
One day fix. Can't wait to keep.
I guess both. So the reason I make this schedule is not necessarily because I'm like afraid to post. It's more because unless I'm like subconsciously like afraid to post and I just like never can find the words to say. But I always feel like, you know, I wake up, I get like distracted, I guess, with like trying to do everything I want to do, plus everything with the baby and like things like that. So I find myself getting a little distracted and then being like, it's like 3:00 and I'm like, oh shit, I didn't post anything today kind of thing. And then I'll like later on get distracted again. And then I ended up like not posting all day. So that's why I kind of like the schedule. So that way I know like what I'm posting every day. So I can just like wake up and like post it. Like I can fit it in my day. It's almost like when you schedule your workouts, just schedule your things so you don't miss it almost. But I definitely think it took more time, like figuring out like what to post and opening up to people. I know like right off the bat when I first became a coach, I had posted like a progress photo, which was like a huge deal for me. But then after that, I think I didn't post for like a week or two because like I, one, didn't know what to post, and two, like kind of didn't want to like put myself out there. So I think it's both. I think it does take time to, you know, kind of warm up to the fact of like, okay, you can put yourself out there and, you know, people aren't going to point and laugh at you for it. But I also think, you know, if you are busy or you get distracted easily, I think scheduling is a really good tool to use.
And do you do that for like the week in advance or the whole month?
I just do it a week in advance.
Okay.
So I'll do like I do every Wednesday night. So I'll do Thursday to Wednesday, and then Wednesday I'll schedule again for the next week.
Awesome. Okay, thank you. Those are really good tips.
Yep.
Anybody else have anything to ask her at all? Now's your chance. Nobody? You don't have to type it in the chat if you don't want to speak up. See if I had anything else. Just going off what you and Lauren said though too, I was also going to say like my first ever 3 coaches all quit, like one after the other. So yeah, that's super important because I know I was like crying to Carolyn and I was only like a week or 2 in myself and I wanted to quit then, and like you just have to keep pushing and finding the needles in the haystack because they're out there. So like I think that's so important because so many people let that get them down, and I mean I did it first and it took me forever to get over that too, but I'm really glad you brought that up because that's super important. Let's have to keep going.
Yeah, mine was like right in August too. It was like before like that dime. You get like by August 23rd, you get like a diamond bonus, and then they like all quit. Like it was like 4 days before the date, and I was like, ugh, are you kidding? But it happens, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, people, yeah, everybody.
Well, that
And
happened.
you bounced right back.
I lost like 3 in one day, so.
It happens to all of us at one point or another. Echo is insane. Okay, does anybody else have anything to add to that? All right. Well, if not, this echo, I can hear myself talking and I can't handle it at all. But thank you so much for all that, Karissa. I took an entire page of notes, and I think that was a really awesome call. So we will have the recording up. Thank you for sharing all that and being so real about everything. That was awesome. And if nobody else has anything, I'll let you guys get back to your night. So thank you all for being on here. All right. Bye, guys.